G'day guys, Jared McMillan here, J&J Rural. It has come time to answer our last Howcome Humpday again. Yeah, it's been a little bit slack, it's been 2 weeks, my apologies. Been a very busy boy. Anyway, our question for Howcome Humpday, we're up to like episode 6 or something, I don't know, whatever it is. Was how come it can be a good idea to have a weak spot in your fence, which goes against your natural thought process of a fence, where you think, oh, I'm just going to build a fence that's going to withstand everything, never going to fail, it's going to keep everything in, everything out, it's going to have trees falling on it, and it's got to be bottom proof. You could shelter from a hurricane in it. That's no, you can't. Right? Trying to build a fence that will never ever fail will always end in failure. Yeah, I have done a video on it in the meantime, just on one style of fence and one reason in particular that it needs a weak spot. So I'm not going to try and cover that too much now. I will try and get that sorted and get the link for that video into the description here, so you can watch it if you want. But I don't want to double down too much on that. But basically, the idea that we have is that your fence is designed by nature, particularly a wire fence, to have a certain amount of give in it, and it's the reason we use high tensile wire when you are using high tensile wire is to retain that tension in your line, so your fence can give, which allows for the pressure to be added to it, and then once that pressure's gone or has been voided, the fence can pull back in to its original spot. Sometimes you need to do a little bit of minor repairs on it, or yeah, TLC or whatever, but generally it works pretty well. Now I'll take you over here and show you what I'm talking about. Right, so over here, it's just going to be a bit of a crude sort of quick example. I'm just down here in my shed yard, getting ready for the day, but I have a fence here, and yeah, there's nothing too drastically wrong with it. It's got a little bit of a belly and the chain link and stuff, like nothing too major, but I'm just going to try and use this to prove my point. If I can get this thing to clip on there so I can free up my hands. Bloody had it upside down. Ugh. Anyway, this fence here. So one goes all the way around my shed yard here, joins onto these cattle yards and stuff. Now, when you're thinking of a fence, right, you've got two ends, one end there, one end down there, and your line runs between your two ends. Right? Makes sense. Now, this fence is braced laterally, so that way, with the line. There's no bracing in it this way. In some occasions, there is a little bit of bracing there at the end, where you have something like this. So we have the fence, which is braced naturally by itself that way, with the stay. And then we have this bit here, this post and rail cattle yard section, right? So that assembly there is obviously bracing this post, this corner post, for that way as well. So this post in particular is braced forwards and horizontally, right? What happens as you get further down the line, down here for example, there's no bracing that way anymore, right? Now I'm getting a little bit of a wobble there, which is completely normal. It's a sturdy post. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. What happens though, if an immense amount of pressure was added to this, push it out that way, away from the post. The beauty about this, and this is the reason we always go on about clips, is that little clip there can pop, can bust. It's got enough, it's got a little bit of give in it that this wire can stretch out and still move through the clip until it gets to a point where it can't do that, in which case either the wire should bust, should break, or the clip should break, or the clips holding our chain mesh onto the line wires should pop, and at least then the fabric will pull away. Right. Yeah, that being said, yeah, even though it's clipped on, what if the force was applied this way against the posts? You know, when that happens, again with the clips, it still works a lot better. But if that was drilled through the posts, what you would expect to see is, as the pressure in the fence bulges this way, all that friction and tension is retained along the face of the post. So theoretically, the line is under more tension here than it is down there, because your posts are binding up on your wire a little bit, right? Meaning that the tension isn't equally spread through the line, doesn't allow the line to reach its maximum amount of tension over the full length, which is what you want. If you're only going between point here and a point there, it's going to be too strong. It's going to take a huge amount of tension to actually break that line there. Why is that a bad thing? If your line can't break, and especially if you have some sort of mesh or fabricated steel on your fabricated wire or whatever on your line, that's going to catch everything. All right, and let's think about it in flood affected areas. If there's a flood running through there, it doesn't have to be a big one, just, you know, knee height or whatever, all the debris and crap's going to catch on that mesh. It's going to build up heaps of weight, heaps and heaps of weight, and it's just going to push and push and push and push and not stop. It's not like an animal. An animal will push to a certain point and stop, or if it's a horse and it's a bit stupid, it'll just run and keep going through the wire until it snaps, and that's why you use soft wire with horses. But anyway, point is, under immense pressures, if the wire can't snap, then it's going to create its own weak point, which is then to lift the posts out of the ground. And once you start doing that, your fence repair job becomes a lot more difficult than replacing or joining a couple of wires. So, things to think about when you're doing your fence in terms of weak spots. What can I make that's going to be sturdy enough to withstand all the pressures it needs to stand, but fail under extreme pressures? Well, easy. Every time you tie a knot, you lose a third of your tensile strength, a third of your breaking strength. So knots alone can become a weak point. That's if you have a good free line between your two ends, so your wire can stretch and belly and snap at the knot, and otherwise it'll try and snap mid-line, which takes a lot more strain. The other thing is clips. All right, putting clips on your fence allows it to be strong enough to withstand animal pressures and normal pressures of a fence, but under extreme pressures and circumstances, the clips should fail. And if none of that, if that doesn't work, then yeah, your posts. Then the next thing is on your posts, and there are certain systems out there with posts you can use that will do it better than others. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to they're all just different versions of clip systems. So anyway, I reckon I've jabbered on for long enough. It's time to go put these trailers on and get to work. The morning's getting away from me. It's 6 o'clock. Anyway, hopefully that might have given you something to think about. If you want to know a little bit more about it, feel free to watch this other video that like I said, I'll try and put in the description. And if not, just go looking for it. You'll find us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. No, not TikTok. What's that, buddy? Instagram. We've got Instagram. I don't have Tickety Talk. Anyway, yeah, don't forget, click like, leave a comment, subscribe, all that jazz and hoo-ha, and you have yourself a good old-fashioned day. Thanks, guys.